It is time to have a look at another watch from my favourite AliExpress brand, Baltany. Hello everyone, welcome back to Awkward Horology. I am your awkward horologist, Chris, and today we're going to be having a look at Baltany. And it's, as I said before, God, it is just one of, if actually no, it's not one of, it is my favourite AliExpress brand at the moment. I love what they do. I love the vintage aesthetic mixed in with the military aesthetic. They try and be a little bit different. They do interesting things with watches. They're not just doing straight homages to popular watches that are coming out today. They look to the past and they try and innovate and do different things. And I really like that. And I also think the build quality with Baltany is absolutely superb as well. So I picked this chronograph up from them in the 11/11 sale. I've been slowly getting around to doing it, and here is the review. You can find this watch scattered along the pages of AliExpress. Baltany also have a website where you can directly order from, but I think you can get the best value on AliExpress. I bought mine from the Heimdall store. I'm going to leave an affiliate link to that in the description below. As we all know, affiliate links won't cost you any extra at all, but what it does do is support the channel, and it adds a few little schmeckles for me to put in the Awkward Horologist purse so I can buy a few more watches to bring in for review. Now this watch actually comes in 3 different colorways. You've got enamel white, you've got a cream dial, and you've also got a retro black dial as well, like a reverse panda. My preference is the black dial, the reverse panda, with the black dial and the sort of the cream white or just slightly off-white subdials. Just to note though that this dial, and you'll see it potentially on the video, but you can see it better when you're looking at the watch face on. It is black, the dial, but it's got a slight bluish hue to it. I'm not sure if that's through the AR coating on the crystal, or if that's actually the dial as well being slightly off black and being a little bit lighter. Now I'm going to rattle through the specifications of this watch before going into the rest of the review. First of all, in terms of diameters and measurements, you have a 39mm case, and it comes out to 42mm if you include the crowns and the pushes. It's all construction of 316L stainless steel. You've got a lug to lug of 46.2mm, so it wears really nicely on the wrist, and it has a thickness of 13.1mm, and that includes a lovely piece of dome sapphire crystal. As with the Baltany Dirty Dozen that I reviewed a while back, this piece of domed sapphire crystal is a really nice piece of sapphire crystal. It does have AR coating on it as well, and the case is 316L stainless steel, but it is high polished throughout. Now, usually I'm not a huge fan of high polished cases. However, this watch has a leather band, so there's no leather bracelet for you to scratch. It's just the case, and the case back itself is sterile screw-in case back, and it's brushed as well, which actually, although it doesn't quite match with the high polish case, I appreciate it nonetheless because it means that it won't scratch as easy as well. Now, the movement is a Seiko VK64, part of the Mecha Quartz movement. I really rate these movements. I think they are fantastic, and this one is probably one of the simplest ones that you can get. You've just got 2 subdials, one to the right and one to the left. So the right, as you're looking at it sort of face on, is a 24-hour indicator, and to the left you've got a 60-minute timer as well. Obviously the second hand on this watch just starts the chrono timer, and it's very simple. Again, you just push the top button to start the chrono timer, you press the top button again to stop it, and then the bottom button to get it back into the right position so you can start again. The strap on this watch is a good one. It did take me a little bit of time for it to conform a little more to my wrist. However, if your wrist is bigger than mine, you may struggle. However, this watch has a 20mm lug width, so you could easily take the leather band off if you're looking to, and put on a NATO strap or put on a different leather band. However, I think this one works quite well, especially with the dark colour that I've got this watch in, or I bought this watch in. Now, unfortunately, this watch only has 50 meters of water resistance. I know that this is a military style watch and I would have expected 100 meters of water resistance. Yes, the fact that it's got a polished case has dressed it up somewhat. However, I think with the way that it looks and it, you know, although it is high polished, it still has a tool look to it, as most Baltany watches do. I would have hoped for 100 meters of water resistance like they have with most of their other models, but it's not a terrible loss. It's just something that, you know, sort of niggles at me a little more. But one thing that absolutely doesn't niggle at me is the way that it looks on my 7.5-inch wrist. The 39mm diameter, well 42mm if you include the pushers, and the compact lug-to-lug of 46.2mm, plus there is slight downturn in that as well, means that this watch does wear really nicely on wrist, and it has a real sort of sweet spot. You can easily wear this watch dressed up or dressed down. You can wear it to the office, you can wear it with jeans and a t-shirt. Hell, you can wear it with shorts and a t-shirt if you want to. This watch sort of really does sort of grab it all. And as I mentioned before, you have Swiss Super Luminova on the watch. There is like a faux patina around the watch on the Arabic numerals and on the either pulsometer or the tachymeter on the outside. However, I think it doesn't look too bad. In fact, I think it adds to the watch. I think it adds to that sort of retro vintage feel that they're really trying to go for here. The loom on this watch is actually pretty good as well. I did remark in the 11/11 roundup sale from the watches that I bought that I was impressed pretty much with the loom on all of the watches, bar obviously the Baltany design that I bought. But this watch really does hold its own. Yes, it's absolutely nothing like the Addy's Dive IWC homage. However, it does hold its own, and for a chronograph of this type, where you wouldn't expect the loom to be absolutely fantastic, especially for the price that you're paying for it, I still think that it does offer quite a nice loom as a result. I hope that makes sense. So overall, what would I rate this watch as? I would say that it's definitely a consider, probably not a buy straight away, because Baltany do have some other chronographs that potentially are more versatile in the form of having higher water resistance and potentially being brushed as well in terms of cases that might be a little bit more utilitarian and tool style. However, this watch does tick a lot of boxes. It's really well made, and when you've got the name Baltany on the dial of a watch now, especially with the watches that I've been buying from Baltany and I've had sent to me from Baltany as well, the quality has always been there. So I would definitely put it on the consider list. The only time I would say not to consider this watch is if you're not a fan of polished cases at all, then I would steer clear because you're just not going to like this watch. And if you really want a watch that has 100 meters of water resistance or higher, again, this watch isn't going to be for you. And then finally, if you have a giant wrist, well, not giant wrist, but if you have slightly larger wrists than I do, I think 8-inch wrists and higher will potentially struggle with the Baltany and how that will wear on their wrist. And again, the leather strap, you know, sort of probably won't be able to accommodate much more than an 8-inch wrist, I think, anyway. But this watch has a lot to offer, and as I've mentioned before, I just think Baltany at the minute are really having a you know, sort of moment in the sun, really. They're knocking all of their models out the park, and I think everything that they've put out thus far that I've seen and that I've had my hands on have been really, really well made. So guys, what do you think on this Baltany? I think the model number is S50434. No, I've made that up. It's the S5034. What do you guys think of this watch? Have you bought this watch in the 11/11 sale? Have you seen it? What do you think about it? Let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram and like and subscribe to this channel. I'm going to do a big push for 10,000 subscribers this year. If I can get to 10,000 subscribers, I will do a giveaway. I'm putting that out there now, and I will obviously let people know in due course what I'm going to be giving away. I'm not sure what I'm actually going to give away, but I will try and give away something. But guys, stay safe, and I will see you all in a future video.